Help me hit 1,000 subscribers. Never imagined that a simple weekend spent with my ex, just as friends, would lead to the moment my husband arrived with a lawyer in tow. Even now, thinking back, my stomach twists at the memory. My quiet life here in Virginia suddenly felt anything but quiet. Sometimes, the things we think are harmless turn out to be the ones that hurt us the most. Michael and I have been married for 8 years. Calm, steady, logical. He's the kind of man who always takes the reasoned path. We met in our early 30s, married quickly, and settled into a comfortable routine. I always believed trust was our strongest foundation. Maybe that belief made me careless. 2 weeks before everything unraveled, David, my ex, reached out. We had dated in our 20s, young, reckless, and immature. Our relationship ended amicably, with no resentment, just memories left unfinished. When he said he was coming to town for a weekend and wanted to catch up, I didn't see the harm. I told Michael about it. His response was quieter than I expected, a subtle unease beneath his calm. "You haven't spoken in years," he said. "I know," I answered, "but it's just as friends. Nothing more." He studied me, searching my face as though he were trying to read something deeper than my words. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" I smiled, trying to make it feel harmless. "Yes, I just want to catch up." Looking back, I realized he was warning me. Try to communicate concern without saying it outright. I ignored it. The weekend arrived. David had rented a small cabin near the lake, the same spot we frequented in our youth. I told myself it was just nostalgia, harmless, nothing emotional. I let Michael know my plans. He nodded slowly. "Okay, stay safe," he said. There was no anger in his voice, only exhaustion. When I arrived at the cabin, David greeted me with a warm, familiar smile. He had changed, older, calmer, more mature, but standing there, I felt like I had stepped back a decade. We talked, laughed, and walked along the lake. It was easy, comforting, maybe too comforting. Nothing physical happened, no touching, no crossing boundaries, but we shared old stories, old mistakes, and lingering emotions. Somewhere between the quiet conversations and the soft music, I realized I had allowed my heart to drift in a way it shouldn't. I told myself it was innocent, but deep down, I knew I was playing with fire. Saturday night, David cooked dinner. We reminisced about college days, the world outside forgotten for a few hours. I avoided most of Michael's texts, not out of malice, but because I didn't want to confront the discomfort I had caused. When I finally replied, I typed, "Everything is fine. We're just talking." I had no idea those words would break something inside him. Sunday morning, I was packing. David walked me to the door. He looked as if he wanted to say something, but he stopped himself. I told him gently that this would be the last time. He nodded, understanding more than I could articulate. Then I opened the cabin door and everything froze. Michael stood there, pale, rigid, and exhausted. Beside him was a man in a suit holding a folder. He didn't yell or interrogate me. He simply looked at me, and the mix of hurt and disappointment in his eyes cut deeper than anger ever could. "Michael, what are you doing here?" I whispered. He raised the folder. My heart sank. I explained quickly. Nothing happened. We only talked. He nodded, jaw tight. "I don't care if nothing physical happened," he said quietly. The lawyer remained silent, present only because Michael wasn't sure what he would find. "You spent the weekend with a man you used to love. You ignored my messages. You told me it was fine when it clearly wasn't," Michael said, voice shaking. "You broke my trust. The one thing we promised each other we'd never break." Tears burned my eyes. "I didn't cheat, I promise," I said. He looked away, rubbing his face. "You didn't have to cheat, but you still left me behind in your heart." David stepped forward as if to speak, but Michael sharply raised his hand. "This isn't your moment." David stepped back inside. Michael's eyes returned to me. "Why didn't you think of me when you decided to spend the weekend there? Why didn't you consider how it would feel for me? Why didn't you choose us?" I had no answer. Every excuse sounded hollow. "I'm not filing anything today," he finally said, his voice quiet but firm. "But I need time. I need space. I need to decide if trust still has a place in our marriage." He walked toward his car, the lawyer following silently. I wanted to run after him, but my legs wouldn't move. I stood at the cabin doorway, watching the man I loved walk away because of a choice I thought was harmless. Back home, the house feels different. His jacket no longer hangs on the chair. His tools are gone. A few essentials, a note on the kitchen counter. I need to breathe. I've read that note 100 times. I don't know if he will forgive me, or if this weekend will be the end of our marriage. But one truth is crystal clear. Even just friends can hold emotional danger. Emotional distance can hurt just as much as physical betrayal. Michael didn't walk away because I cheated. He walked away because he felt alone in a marriage that was supposed to make him feel chosen.